September, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. This is Pepper. She is in a bit of a mood, but she will settle down. And welcome to my August reading wrap-up. We've got hopefully a decently short video today. I only have a few minutes to film before my husband gets home and we're gonna do some dinner plans. So without any more hesitation, let's go ahead and get started. So the first book that I read this month is Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is a novella that goes in between Powerless, the first book in the series, and Reckless, the second book in the series. This book is based on, or this book follows the best friend of the main character in the first book, Powerless. If you have not read Powerless, I'm sure you've heard about Powerless. It is a romantasy about Peyton, and she lives in a world where everyone has powers except for her. She's an ordinary, and she gets chosen to do some trials, and there's a love story, there's fighting, there's princes, there's all sorts of crazy stuff that happens in that first book. And this book, you get to see her best friend's point of view. That being said, I did know what happens in this book kind of because of the first one. You get to know a little bit about what happens to the main character in this book in the first one. I will not do any spoilers, but I will say I cried like a little baby, and I'm not ashamed to say that. This book tore my heart out, even though I knew it was gonna happen. So highly recommend. I gave this book 5 stars. It's such a good series. I love. Our next book is Reckless. This is the book that follows Powerful, and this book came out right before my birthday at the end of July, and my birthday is early August, so I had to spoil myself and get this book for my birthday, and I'm so glad I did. I will say that, again, I'm not going to do any spoilers. People who have read this book know that this one is a lot slower than the first book, as well as slower than the novella, and that's okay with me because we got some answers in this book that, to be honest, I really needed from the first book, and so I really did like this. It is slower, and therefore I give this book about a 3.75. On Goodreads, I rounded it up to a 4, and I think that it definitely deserves that. You get a lot of banter in this book, which I really love, but it does slow things down, and it is a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a filler book, but it's not as action-packed as the first one, and it definitely is setting up what happens in the third and last book from this series. So 4 stars, 3.75. It was good, but not the best. The next book that I read, I actually listened to, and I kind of wish I didn't. I filmed a vlog of just me running errands, doing a little shopping, and I talked a little bit about this audiobook. And I am gonna break some hearts because this is a popular series and I know it, but I don't think it's for me. It is to be determined whether or not this author may be for me, because I know that she's very beloved and I would love to read other things from her. So you guys need to let me know, are all of her books similar to this? And that book is Twisted Love by Ana Huang. I did not like the possessiveness of the male main character in this book. It's not my thing to read about possessive men. I'm sure that there's a reason that he's the way he is, but I got a little over halfway through with the audiobook and I just couldn't. I couldn't do any more of it. So this book doesn't get a rating, it gets a DNF. I am gonna give this physical copy to someone that I know in my life who really does like dark romance, and I think that it'll be perfect for her. I wish I liked this. It is, like I said, a very beloved series, very beloved author, but just not for me. Let me know if the other books that she has written are similar. I just don't like the possessiveness that he was giving in this book, and therefore I couldn't take his character seriously. He would like say things to her or other people, and I guess I just don't like the whole like, I like her and therefore she's mine kind of a thing. I just, yeah, not my thing. I don't know why I'm trying to justify it. Everyone has personal taste. This was a DNF for me. Enough said. Do let me know though if all of her books are that way, because when there's an author that everybody loves, I want to love them too. Just not that particular one. So the next book was actually also an audiobook. I needed something to kind of replace this one. I can listen to audiobooks a lot at work, and so I tried to do that. And this next one, I loved the audiobook so much that I decided to get a physical copy, and that is How You Lose the Time War. This is written by two different authors, and I'm gonna butcher the first one's name, unfortunately. It is Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone, and this is a really cool book. I gave this one 4 stars. I will say I can understand people either not liking this book or having a hard time getting into this book, because it's kind of written almost like poetry. It's essentially letters written between 2 agents in a time war. And so it's a little bit sci-fi, it's a sapphic romance as well. I loved when the tides kind of turned and they gave each other nicknames, because it's essentially enemies to lovers. And yeah, it's really cute. Cute is like a weird word to say for a sci-fi book, but it had me giggling in a good way. So I gave this 4 stars, and I highly recommend if you love just like beautiful lyrical, almost poetry writing, or if you're looking for something that is just very unique, I highly recommend that you read this. It is a novella as well, and so it's a really quick read. I think the audiobook itself was like 4 hours or something like that, so can definitely get through this one quickly. The next book, I am so excited that I got my hands on this. So this is written by an author that I actually follow here on YouTube. He wrote his first ever novel, and I just had to get it. I did have to order it from the UK. By the way, if you're ordering anything from the UK, whether it's because of a cover that you like better that way, or, you know, it's just an author that's hard to get here in the US, like this particular one, Blackwell's online is definitely the place to go. They include free shipping to the US. It takes them about 2.5 weeks to get books to me, so I would assume pretty much everywhere in the US would be similar. But without further ado, that next book is Hiding Him by Adam Hatton. I loved this book. This is just so heartwarming, so cute. It's about 2 young boys in high school, and they are navigating essentially what it's like to be young and, you know, have your first real crush, and navigating friendships and family and, you know, past enemies. And it's just really cute and heartwarming. It definitely brought me back to high school days where I would see, you know, a boy and he would just be like, oh my gosh, he must be perfect, right? You just assume when you're young that everyone, is so much cooler than you and all this stuff. And it's definitely like a coming of age story. And it brought me back to my high school days for sure. So I think that this book is fantastic. I gave it a 4-star, and it's so cute, so cozy. If you're looking for a very quick read, something that you can just like sink your teeth into and get done in a day or two, this is definitely one of them. I cannot wait to see if Adam writes more books. I loved Cameron. It was just so good, so good. Our next book is definitely one that is very loved here on BookTube, and I had to get through it before fall starts because it is just a clearly summer read, and that is Summer Romance by Annabel Monaghan. And I really liked this book. This book is about Allie. She is a newly single mom. She's going through a divorce and she has some children as well. And she's navigating essentially what it's like to experience the different things for the first time, like dating, like going through a divorce, like figuring out your career. She also is dealing with the death of her mother. And I think that despite the fact that this book is called Summer Romance, the thing that I loved most about it was that she's navigating things that we all eventually have to navigate. I lost a family member about 2 years ago, and it was someone who was very important to me. And it completely changed my entire life. And it takes a while to process all of that stuff. I am honestly still processing it. And to see Allie talk to her mom, like she's sitting in the car talking to her, even though she has passed on. And that's something that I have done. Like, you always want to think that the ones that we lose are still with us. And so I definitely do that. I talk to my loved ones who have passed on, and I don't know if they can hear me or not, but it makes me feel like I'm still connected to them. The other thing that I loved about this book is I am a child of divorced parents, and Allie is a mother going through a divorce. And while I've never been divorced myself, and I'm also not a mom, I really loved the way that Allie handled certain things with her children in this book. It really made me feel like her children were seen, and they're just fictional characters, which is why this book got a 5-star. Like, I could not give it anything less. It was a little slow at the beginning for me. It took a while to get into, and I think that calling it summer romance, like, yes, there is love. There is a romance in this, and it's a beautiful romance, but it's almost about Allie just becoming who she is now and figuring out exactly who that is, who she wants to be, what she wants her life to look like. And I think that it's just so relatable. I have gone through so many things in my lifetime that have completely changed the directory of my life, and you don't always see why those things happen in the time that they're happening, but once you're on the other side, it's like, oh, like, I love who I am now more than I loved who I was before that thing happened. That horrible thing made me into someone that I almost respect more. And I think that's really cool. It's more, summer romance is more than a summer romance. And I absolutely loved this book. So 5 stars. Next, we have to talk about the book that I have been waiting to read since March of this year, I think, is when I read the first book in this series. It is a 7-book series. This is the 5th book. It is the last one that is currently out. I'm hoping that the next book comes out soon. I know it's not going to, but time flies fast, right? Just gotta tell ourselves that. That book is Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. Okay, we need to set things aside because this is the book I'm going to talk the most about by far. So, first of all, 5 stars. Let's just get that. 5 stars. Love this book so much. All that being said, this book was very similar to Summer Romance in the way that it helped me heal parts of myself. And I think that books that can make you see life's struggles in a different way are really beneficial, for me at least. I think that, you know, you could say that about anyone most likely, but I really needed this book in my life. So for anyone that has not read Magnolia Parks, I will not be giving away any spoilers, but let's go back to the first book. So the Magnolia Parks books follow a couple named Magnolia and BJ, and in the first book, they are terrible for each other. They just are. They are very wealthy 20-somethings living in the UK, and they have a very dysfunctional relationship. As the books go on, you understand each of them a lot better. And this particular book, this brick of a book, you understand them the best that you could. You understand them as if they were your best friends, and I love this friend group. Dysfunctional, incredibly dysfunctional. Do not recommend that anyone on the planet do some of the things that some of these characters do, but it made it worth it. It made all the reading worth it, and I am pretty sure I've rated all the books so far 5 stars. There are some that I like more than others. There are characters that I like more than others, but this wrapping up BJ and Magnolia's part of this series, I just really loved how everything came full circle. Everything made sense. Their motivations not only made sense from the first book, but changed and grew, and the growth that each character has is beautiful. And I apologize if you can hear Pepper trying to fight with her brother, because she definitely wants to play. Anytime I bring out the camera, she's like, it's time for me to attack. Anyways, so these books, incredible. I will say, if you have read it, this is not a spoiler, I promise, but if you have read it, there is a speech that BJ gives at the end, and it is the very last, like his very last like monologue. And when he announced what this was about, I gasped. Just picture me reading, and I went, oh. I actually think I cussed as well, because I just was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is incredible. This is so good. I love it so much. So 5 stars. So just to recap, have Powerful, Reckless, Twisted Love, This Is How You Lose the Time War, Hiding Him, Summer Romance, and my love, Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's a quick one. I actually filmed this the other day and the clips were so incredibly long. I have learned I ramble a lot. I'm literally doing it right now, but I wanted to refilm this really quick so that it's a little less rambly. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm so excited for my September TBR. If you guys watched the TBR jar picks my September reads, you'll know that we've got a lot of exciting books coming up. I actually also bought some more today, so we'll see if we get into either of those anytime soon. But that is it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy September once again. I will see you guys soon. Bye.